Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more.
Well, welcome to the channel, and we have Bearded Picker with us today. How's your week been?
Why do you have an Easter bunny rabbit in your intro?
Because I was actually in one of my videos. I was dressed up as an Easter bunny. I picked up the entire outfit in a liquidation buy, and I'm like, I have to try this out. And I tried it out and made a video where I was holding. You remember? You probably don't even go for that far back. But anybody who's watched the channel long enough knows I was actually doing my intro, and I was holding. I wasn't speaking at all, just holding out signs saying what I was going to say, and then I went and I took the damn hat off after the intro.
Yeah, I missed that. It's been a terrible week.
Well, weekend. How was your weekend? How was your sales?
Weekend sucked. Weekend sucked. Sales are fine. The weekend sucked.
Oh, ours was quite solid, and I'm just out there doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's like an extension of summer, so I'm hopeful that as we get into Q4, and that's going to be the talk of this discussion, and hopefully you guys out there will chime in and let us know your thoughts on it. Q4 is coming, and I think a lot of times before you know it, Q4 is here, and we're not even ready. So, what are some things, Beard, that are you ready for Q4? Or are you just kind of going with it, going with the flow?
I'm plenty ready. I just got to be better at getting more stuff listed. So, hey Ron, that's why you're blocked too, by the way. So you can text me all you want to, you can call me all you want to. When you're an asshole, you get blocked. So I don't expect someone as nice as you to be such a. I'm not going to say it on this channel, but yeah. So there you go, Ron. You better talk in here all you want to because you're blocked everywhere else. It's been college football was a terrible weekend for us. So, but sales are ready. I'm listing a lot of stuff. I'm list easier. I put 983 items up last month using List Easier. I don't even have that many in my two stores when I started. So, I look forward to building that every month. I got another month that I'm going to put at least that many up again. I've got the 2,500 records that I want to continue working on. Most people who are actively participating in this and sell things are showing positive sales growth. And the more the economy hurts, the more people are losing jobs, the more the things we sell, used stuff, especially, there's no secret why you're selling things that are used, and people are because the significant savings in that part of your life can mean that people are hurting. So,
I think the fact that any tool, I don't care what tool it is, that's allowing someone to do a task that's been sort of like, how many resellers, if you ask them, what's the biggest pain point in reselling, they'll probably say listing, right? I know that's what Jenna says. I don't care. It's part of the deal. I don't mind that. But there's others that are like, I'd rather just not list. But if someone can make a tool out there that would simplify for me, because over the years eBay's made it more difficult with the addition of item specifics and all this other stuff. Well, then that's attractive, and it's going to it's lessening the barrier of entry to resell on the platform. And so between that, the 1099 rule change where it's back to $20,000 and a $200 transaction for the year, I really think that people are like, I had a couple people have already commented like, I'm back at reselling. It's not a financial burden anymore. That's how they're approaching it. They have no intention on paying taxes, but now that they don't have to track it because they're not going to make anywhere near 20,000, they're all in, and we have to compete with that. We have to compete with the more listings on the platform. And this is going to be the first Q4 coming up where we're going to have an inundation in some categories with more and more sellers selling more and more, or listing more and more items.
See, that's where I disagree a little bit. There are some sellers that are listing more and more, but it's not like platform wide, because we live in a bubble. We live in, everybody thinks every single eBay seller is on YouTube, and it's such a small fraction.
No, they're not.
And the hardest thing for List Easier and any of these programs to do is to get outside of that bubble and to figure out how to reach, the regular seller that has no clue that we talk about this all the time on the internet. So, but
I think there'd be an increase if you take 20% of the resellers and throw them on any of these programs and increase their output by 10x. That's a lot of listings hitting the platform. And if you consider your buyer pool is not increasing by 20% of 10x, that it's not really increasing much at all. Now I'm hopeful that it will, but all we're doing is we're adding more inventory to an already small buyer pool. And so I don't know if I should be optimistic or pessimistic at all about Q4. I have not done well in Q4 the last 2 years as compared to the summer. So for many, it's a celebration that we're done with the summer slowdown and we're, on to like bigger and better things. For me, it's like apprehension. I don't know what to expect this year.
Yeah, your categories are not covered very well with the stuff that you sell, so I don't think it has any effect on you. I believe in your plan that you've talked about for the last few months of getting other things, because the items you sell don't do it, have the tendency to fall off a little bit, and you're trying to buy different things and source different things and list. So I think that's the road for you. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah. It's not often I say that I agree with you 100%, but I had
to record that.
I truly do think that that's the answer for you. And the answer is different for everyone, but in your case, supplementing and going a little wider and making sure that your product mixes, because there are things you can buy and pick up, that will sell to this time that you can make money on. Whereas I'm spending the extra time, listing bulkly, you can be listing, regular items that be selective, but, still put up very nice items that will do very well.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Mike Seller. He's been a member on the channel for 17 months. I mean, there's people who do time in prison for 17 months, but thank you for being here. And let's give also a shout out to Mike Seller's mom. She's 95 years young today, and that is absolutely outstanding. So have a happy birthday, and I'm looking for it because I don't have my soundboard. You guys know I'm on StreamYard, and so everything is just all over the place on this. So I don't have the applause. If I did, I would absolutely play it for. Here we go. We got some applause. Here we go. Happy birthday, Mom. That's awesome.
So that's the second person I've heard today has a 95-year-old mom. A good friend who was selling at the flea market, Brother Hal, is a pastor here in town. He's the pastor at Harlan's parents' church, and so he resells. So we've known him since I got here. And I asked him how Miss Rachel was doing. If y'all don't know, Harlan's mom fell and broke her leg last weekend. And had to have a rod put in, and she's still in the hospital as they try to find, because she's got some other issues, which rehab place will be the best for her. And so I asked Hal, I said, hey, have you checked on Miss Rachel today? And he said he had. He said, so we started talking. His mom has broken her hip twice, and she is 95. He said I said, that's amazing, man, because so many times when you're that age and you fall and break something like that, it's the 6 month survivability is not good. And he actually said, yes, one of the nurses actually mentioned that. And she said she was going to be she said, I was at like 84, 85. She's like, I'm going to be the exception. And she's now 95. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, what are some things that we can do to get ready for Q4? And I think number one is you already have listings on the platform. They haven't sold yet. And it's about time to get into your listings and to start optimizing them. Review your prices. A lot of times your prices are just too high. Almost everything on the platform, and I say almost everything because I don't necessarily think every fart in a jar actually has a market, but almost everything on the platform has a optimal price. And I think we want to get the most for our items, but we tend to price our stuff on the high end when buyers are looking for items to be priced on the low end. I think that's probably the biggest problem going to Q4. Are your prices competitive? And that's what it's about. Competition. Are you competitive with the other sellers on the platform?
Bookland brings you this comment. I use list easier to list more. Thanks, Bookland. He's been hitting me in the chat. I quit saying that.
No, we don't have any affiliation with List Easier right here. That's a bearded picker Josh Galt thing. It's not a John thing. So
hey, the hat's going to be ending soon. I've got the one hat for sale, so make sure y'all go to bearded picker on eBay if y'all are interested in the hat.
You're already selling
it. Well, it's small in my head, and I've got a size 8 head.
Oh, okay, stretch that thing out.
So the one thing I can tell you too is be prepared. The one thing that catches a lot of people off guard is as your volume goes up and as you do all these things, most people are, where are you going to get your boxes? Where are you going to get your supplies? You make sure that, because the worst thing that can happen is you have, great performance and then late shipping and those kind of things, which hurt your metrics on eBay. You want to get the sales, but you need to be prepared. So one of the things that's helped me out a lot is I've listed some vacuum cleaners lately, and I didn't list the first one until I ordered the boxes that actually fit them, because I'm like, man, I'm spending a lot of time making these boxes, and I found a 10-pack that did well. And so now, of course, now I've got the boxes, I've kind of jinxed myself. I haven't sold one yet, but I've turned down a couple offers. I've got an Electrolux. It's at $279. I've got it on sale for like $250. He offered $210, and I can look on there. And he has bought what am I into it?
Yeah.
$20.
10X.
I'm the only, that color, that model, I'm the only one on eBay.
Okay. Well, what did you come back to him with? Then what counter did you come back with? Or did you do that?
I told him that I thought the price was fair because I looked at what he has bought, and he has bought quite a few pieces. So I believe he's a seller. He was going to break it up and sell it.
But you have offers enabled for that listing, right?
I do.
What's the lowest you'll take?
240.
See, I'm a firm believer that, and this has been going on a lot.
I had it on sale for 242, and that's what he was asking at 210. So that's why I told him I thought the price was fair when I had it on sale for 242.
Yeah, I mean, even if you came back with 240 and just say, hey, it's not much of a discount from what I already have it at, but this is the, explain why. You're not banking, and this is why I don't like to decline offers. You're not banking on that person buying your item. In fact, like this person that I'm dealing with, I have a coffee maker. We bought a whole bunch of them in the box, customer returns. They had, I guess, been used once or twice. It's being sold used, right, pre-owned, but they're not pre-owned in the sense of the next guy who's selling a 6-month to 1 year, 2-year-old machine of the same model that's really been used. So I had them like, I think $54.99 plus shipping with my markdown sales. Now it's in the 40s. They want to offer me $26. And I'm like, no, because I just sold 2 of these like in the last week at full ask. So I came back at $40, not because, and I told them I don't haggle, even though they try to come back with 30. But I told them this is the lowest I'll go. Now, I didn't decline when they came back at 30, because if you interact with your buyer through these offers, I'm a firm believer that you are going to get a boost of how many times you have an item, you're back and forth with somebody in an offer, and then someone else comes out of the blue and buys it. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's items that you've had listed for a while. So, I mean, how does that work? How is that happening? So, for me, it's just, I'm not really so much doing it to convince that buyer to buy my item. Fine, buy it. But I really want to keep that conversation and that interaction going to keep my item relevant. I really think there's something to that.
Yeah. So just the canister on that vacuum sold for 170 plus shipping. So if we're going to 210, where he's going to get the head that sells for 120, the hose that sells for 50, and the metal pipe in the middle that sells for another 45. he was, I guess that was enough profit for him. If he could get it at 210, he was going to split them up, because there's what if you break it up, as well over $400. I just put it all together just because, and that's what I told the guy too. I'm like, if it doesn't sell, I'll just break it up and sell it. I can do the same thing. So
you saw that he was a seller?
Well, he had bought 9 different Electrolux pieces for that exact same model. So
what else? Is a shop somewhere or something.
What else? He could have a store, or he could be a repair person. I looked in his sales, and he didn't actually sell that model, but he had bought so much of that one, that exact same one in black, and that model. And I told him that, I'm like, I do realize I'm the only one on Amazon, on eBay right now. So,
so as part of reviewing your listings and all that, so we talk about price. I mean, we gotta have reasonable prices. Your titles. I gotta say, I don't yet in its current form. I don't trust AI to deliver me, and I don't care what program we're talking about. I don't trust AI to deliver me what I see as an optimized title. And what I see as an optimized title is a lot different than what people will accept. For instance, if you're selling LPs, CDs, what happens when you allow AI to list your LPs or CDs? It'll give you the name of the artist. It'll give you the name of the album. It'll probably give you like the year that the album came out, and you're leaving like 40 to 50 characters in your title on the table. When there's people right now who are nostalgic and going, there's that song, and I know the name of the song. I don't even know the artist's name, but I remember this song, and they type the name of the song in, and ain't nothing coming up. But if this artist maybe is a one-hit wonder, or you put their top hit, the title of that hit in that space in that title, I'm telling you might get some more hits. But AI doesn't see it that way, and it doesn't understand that eBay. I have a file that eBay sent me that I'm going to be sharing here on my channel at some point when I get a chance to make the video. They track that I average 77 out of 80 characters in my title. Okay, that's big. I think there's a reason why they're keeping track of it, not just like, oh, here's a cool chart that we can show you. I really do think there's something to maximizing out the number of characters and keywords that you are using in your title, which is an opportunity to capture a buyer's search. Whereas if you're just relying on the artist name, title, and year, you may not get that. You may not even show up in their search.
So James has put in the chat. List Easier does that. So
does it do that?
I've had no issues. Yeah, they are very, very. They average in this low 70s on my titles.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I tinker around with AI, right? And I know that like if I go in and ask AI, and whether it's Grok or ChatGPT or all those other ones, I have to kind of prod it to give me more than just the basics on some of these titles, and then finally it does. So if there is a program out there that's doing that, that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing. So real quick before we continue this conversation, I wanted to say hi to a few people. We got Brenda Smith. Thank you for being here, Brenda. We got Mike Camparelli. He says Jenna doesn't have a beard, LOL. No, that's Scott. Mike says on the topic, I'm getting ready. Lots of new listings. First holiday is Halloween. So I collected all the costumes I got all year and putting them up in my store. Halloween. I don't do a lot of Halloween sales, but my thing is Halloween's the one holiday for me where I don't really care to sell any Halloween stuff after September 30th. Because I want them to buy it in September. My 30-day return period is up, because when Halloween is done, that's when most returns happen. Like Halloween, like Amazon gets a ton of costumes back because people rent these costumes. I'm not interested in renting anything like that for Halloween. Right? Have you seen that?
I don't do Halloween.
You're chatting.
Yeah, Dave is messing with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't seen that because I don't pay a lot of attention to Halloween. It's never been
I used to get that in my liquidation pallets and stuff. It's like, okay, well, I might as well sell it. But here comes October 5th and someone's buying my costume. And you're like, okay, hopefully they're not going to do what a lot of people do on Amazon. And that's buy it, rent it, send it back when they're done.
Yeah, that'd be a danger for this time of year. That's the one thing I would tell you is the earlier you can get that stuff up, the earlier you can sell it. You know, if you sell it in this month, your return period runs out before they can wear it on Halloween.
Like Mike Mecco says, like Kevin Commonwealth Picker always says, make sure to order your number 7 boxes. It's a good idea to take stock of all shipping supplies and inventory to make sure you're not stuck. Yeah, so shipping supplies is important. The last thing you want to do is get hit with extra sales and you're not ready, right? You know, that's why I think it's just perfect timing. Q4 hits, you guys should be using your eBay store coupon. At least get some supplies that way. I can tell you, Beard turned me on to what is it? The Supply Hut for boxes. It's funny though. He got me into looking at Supply Hut for boxes, and he's over at Granger. I used to be at Granger, and now I'm looking at Supply Hut. So it's just kind of strange.
It's Granger's only for the big sizes that Supply Hut doesn't do the one like the one I bought the other day was 24 by 16 by 12 or 22 by 16 for the vacuum cleaners. The Supply Hut doesn't carry one that big, so I need it. So that's why I've been buying those. And they don't also the golf. I order some to sell golf clubs. They don't carry those either. So the Granger boxes I've been buying are different, but they've been fast. Man, has Granger been fast?
They're okay. I mean, I used to have to. I went and go pick them up every time, and they were like the golf. They were usually the golf boxes, but I guess I've been ordering them wrong because it's. I ordered the 40. Was it 42 by 5 by 5, and they have like the flap down the length of the box, and those things are not sturdy at all. I want the flaps to be at each end of the box. I could just drop the golf club in the box. Right?
Okay, so we talked about that. You want to tell them the difference? So if you want a golf, it's like I order golf club boxes. I order 48 by 6 by 6.
Yeah.
There is a difference between 6 by 6 by 48 and 48 by 6 by. That tells you where the long side is. So
well, I did the 40. It was like 40. Well, I don't know if it was 48 or not. 48 by 5 by 5, and it was that exact box that I ended up getting, and I hate it.
Yeah, if you do the small numbers first, 6 by 6 by 48, that means they close on the ends. It's not down the lengthwise, and so you got a much stronger box for those smaller length ones. So that I don't know if anybody's ever paying attention, but sometimes they're turned around backwards like that, and that's why. It's because of it's telling you where the seam of the box is.
Keith's been busy with sales with 14 going out today. Awesome. We've been busy. You guys saw the video that I did. Hopefully you saw the video I put out this morning. I was up until like 2 a.m. editing that damn thing. It was an hour-long video, and it was just kind of tedious. So hopefully you guys, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's me doing the shipping thing in my other store, which was enough to give me 1 hour worth of content, because when you're talking and not focused on the shipping, it takes a little longer. So normally that 8 items in that store is like a 20-minute process for me. We got Thomas S is in the house, and thanks for being here, Thomas S. And because we have a guest, we usually don't go through all the comments, but I just wanted to at least acknowledge some folks that are here. So I guess just to round off the number one topic, or the number one bullet point in what can you do to get ready for Q4, and that is to review and optimize your listings. Not enough photos, guys. I still see that there's a good number of sellers that are only using 1 or 2 photos in their listings, and eBay has stressed that. And I know you guys don't have access to the listing quality report, but it's one of the things that they're focused on. That report that I got from the eBay rep, that's something they're focused on. So the average number of photos you put in your listings is huge. As compared to 5 years ago, it wasn't really a thing. You can use as many photos as you want. It wasn't really counted for against you. At least it wasn't reported. Now, everywhere you look, at least what I'm seeing, it's telling me, hey, in this particular category, the top sellers use 6 photos. You're only using 5. So it's something to maybe think about. Yeah, it's a little bit more work, but if you're already taking photos, what's an extra angle here or zoom in there? And I know that's like, well, you know what? I got this thing and I can only take so many angles of it. But you know, if you're creative, you can figure out what the extra photos need to be. Do you ever think about that when you're doing your photos?
Yeah, I wonder if they track the correlation between the number of photos versus the number of returns. If there's a correlation between more photos, less returns, and that's why they're pushing that. You know, more photos, less calls to customer support. Whatever. There's always, you got to figure out what's the reason. So if you're struggling with returns or having some negative issues, take more photos. Take photo every inch of it. Remember, you want to zoom with your camera or phone. Don't zoom in the app, because then you reduce the quality of the image in the app, and you lose some of the zoom where you've got much more detail control for your customer. If you do it and then upload the picture, and then don't mess with it in their app. But yeah, I struggle with media, like a new DVD, because I bought some of the at the uh, flea market today. And how many different ways can you take a picture of a new DVD?
I'm you know, like I take the top down, flip it over in the back, take that, have it at an angle, take it showing the spine. I mean, and then you take the CD out, show that the top of the CD has a good
New, new, new,
label.
new, new
New?
seal, new sealed.
Oh, it's brand new. I thought you
Yeah,
said dude.
you can't take the CD out of new, or a DVD, or out of a new seal without making it not new anymore.
Yeah, but you know how many what's the percentage of people listing new CDs right now? I mean, I think a lot of the CDs being listed are probably been opened, at least whether they're used or not. But I mean, you have a place where you can go, a source you can go to get new ones, right?
Yeah, used ones I have no problem with. I can take as many pictures. 4 is pretty easy to take.
Biff is with us. He said, today someone asked me what a small poster I'm selling looks like from far away. I don't know. Hold your phone at arm's length and imagine. Measurements are in the title. There's always something. Yeah, I think adding measurements are good to do if you don't have measurements in some of your items. One thing that and Biff said to me, it was about a week ago, and it stuck with me since he's mentioned this, and it's on my mind constantly, and that is this experiment. And I guess you'd call it an experiment. So this last November, went and got my storage unit, have it all set up, got the racks in there, have 6 plus pallet, at least 6 pallets in there worth of stuff. And that's costing $225 a month by 12 months. That's about $3,000. I mean, give or take, right? Would you be better off just forgetting the whole idea of having a storage unit for this stuff, because I only use it as a reserve, right? Versus using that to buy better stuff within your existing setup. And that's resonated with me. So maybe he's right. Maybe I went down the wrong path here. It's caused me to kind of doubt that part of what I'm doing. Have you ever had somebody who's made a comment to you on one of your videos where it's just kind of, that's like, yeah, what? And you just thought about it, right? They made a really good point, and it's been kind of, you've been thinking about it. Maybe I'm the only one.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one. So you don't care what your viewers think.
I have a hard time remembering my name sometimes, and finding my own underwear if I don't write my name on the tag.
Yeah, I believe that.
So the one thing I would tell you for just a thought on the overall thought on being ready for Q4 is, don't accept defeat. If you have you prepare for and all the things you can do to get ready and work through and work a schedule and list, and it's within your control. Don't accept the fact that coming into Q4 thinking I don't know how it's going to be. I'm kind of worried about external circumstances. I'm telling you, if you put in the work, you have way more control over your business. And beer, what if they don't buy this or that? If you don't perform and put things up and do all the things we're telling you to do today, you can forget it. The number one factor in your success in Q4 stares you in the mirror every morning.
Yep. That's the biggest one, is get out of your own way and just do it. On Primo Chemo's live today, he was going over some numbers, at least some impression numbers. Now, I know there's a number of people like, I don't care about impressions. I don't know. I think you should. I think it's an indicator. It tells a story. Now, maybe you have, I think Mike G was saying, hey, I'm down 15% on impressions, but up 16% in sales. That happens. There's times that you're up 16% in impressions and down 16% in sales. But what it does is tell a story of how eBay is promoting that item. So if you're listing, he was showing like he had just a huge spike in impressions 2 days after listing a whole bunch of items, and then it kind of died down after a couple days. And that tells you what eBay couldn't even confirm. I mean, some people they didn't know at eBay open. Some of the eBay personnel was even saying that it's a myth. But if you're listing new items, you're going to get a new item tag on those items. And also, Primo talked about doing a nuclear reset. What's a nuclear reset? That's when you end the item, or for your entire store, you end all the listings, and then you relist them or sell similar, whatever you want to do, whichever one's better for you. And you get that same spike 1 to 2 day. I thought it was always 12 to 24 hours, but it could be extending out to about 2 days, where eBay is treating it as a new listing. That's one thing that people can do. And whether you believe me or not, try it. See what happens to your impressions when you end your stale listings. And in the report that I'm going to show you, not today, but I showed the members only on the members only live. I thought it was an interesting document. They do have, eBay does keep track. Do you have stale listings? And do you have, what's the other verbiage? There's another one underneath. Stale is if it's under over 90 days old. And then the other one, and Mike Camperelli could probably help me out, but there's another one, another terminology that I just don't know the exact what they called it off the top of my head, where they measure how many items you have that are over 6 months old. And if you're doing end items sell similar and you've developed a process, kind of like what I do, you're never going to have a number in that. You're never going to have a stale item on eBay. And I think that's important because eBay tracks it.
So I just don't know that I believe in what they tell you where impressions are, because, like I was talking the other day, I think Wednesday, if I'm looking for like this specific remote and I put the model number in, they're going to show me like 10 other, seems like 3 or 4 related remotes before I even see the first one.
Yeah.
And if somebody's going to get impressions, and it's a false sense of security sometimes, because I was never interested in their remotes. Never. Because I'm looking for the specific one that fits my unit. So but it's important to see, because if it's a dead item, you can definitely tell. You can also, so if you run promotions, you can see how they track you or whatever, but I don't know that they're 100% accurate. I just lean back into, put good items up, good prices, good customer, all the things to do, and you can overcome some of that, because there's plenty of people out there that don't promote at all and have great sales, and the impressions are. But that's the one thing you got to be careful of too, is if you change things, your impressions are going to, the way they track them are going to change too. So if you're trying things different, give it some time to air out, or that maybe that's a chance that you go, hey, if like somebody just said their store's almost stale, maybe after 60 days, 90 days, maybe it's time to, I like the way John does his resets. He does it every day and takes a certain amount of his items that are the oldest ones there that are about to go 30 days anyway. But it's a group that he can handle. He can review a certain number of items, and make improvements and then carry on. But you
Yeah.
know,
What I do is I break my store and I divide it by, I take 1/30th of my store. So right now I have about 300 items in the main store. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it works for me. And I'm taking 1/30th of that, which is 10 items a day, and I'm ending the oldest 10. So the ones that are getting close to having an eBay recycle of the new 30-day period. And I'm just doing that every day. And it's even on days I really don't have anything to list, or maybe I don't have time to list. I take the 10 minutes because that's all it takes me. Now, if you have more items in your store, it might take you a little longer. I'm keeping track of how old the item is by adding an asterisk in the SKU. So I know if something's now 2 to 3 months old. Changing the price. I'm being more aggressive with the price the older that the item is. And I'm tweaking things. If I see that maybe the title needs to be tweaked, I take that time to tweak it, and it certainly does help. I mean, that could be part of number one, review and optimize your listings that we talked about at the beginning. That could be part of your process. You don't even have to go in and do your entire store. You can go in and do an end item sell similar process every day with 10 items a day, and fix those items as they come across.
because I think a lot of it you're going to find is the price is so volatile that I would be willing to bet your items are still viable items, but the price, it's amazing how fast price changes. And as the market goes up and down.
Yeah, markets change for sure. Let's see here, trying to get some new comments. A lot of crosstalk. Pork chop, enjoyed watching my shipping video today. I would be nervous to ship out parts to things not knowing if they were in working condition. This is a gamble, and you sometimes have returns. So like the machines that I pull from, they are functional. If it's an item that doesn't function, I solely focus on parts that have nothing to do with let's say the power. It's not powering on, so I'll look for something that really has nothing to do with the unit powering on. Maybe it's the board that's bad, so I'll avoid the board on that.
Maybe it's brushes, maybe it's wheels. There's plenty of things that are non-power related issued items that you can sell.
Right.
Dustbins or coffee carafes or whatever it is. There's plenty of other items that are viable items.
Yeah, I generally don't get really returns on parts. I generally don't. A lot of times people buy parts for the wrong thing, and so they'll say doesn't fit, right? They'll think that they're buying it. Oh, this looks like my model, and then they buy it, and then they find that it's not the same thing. I get that every so often, but I generally don't have issues with parts. What about you?
So I got a return on a part today. That was just didn't like it. Well, it came over the weekend, which is weird because it's the spout in a juicer. I'm like, what do you thought that the juicer was supposed to be in solid gold or something? I mean, what's there to like? It's the spout of the juicer that pushes the juice into the cup. I mean,
They didn't like it.
So it's I'm assuming it's probably model number. It's probably because Breville makes 4 models, and 2 of them don't cross over. I think it's model number.
So a shout out to Primo Chemo, Callie Debs, Oops, I Shipped Myself, Christopher Nutter, Joe Samard. Thanks for being here, guys. Also, Henri Squaw and Dave Harrington. So nice to see you. We have Kevin Hawthorne. He is in hiding right now. Good evening to you. And of course, the legend, Larry Todd. I was born ready. Let's go.
You're going to run into somebody who made some really hateful comments. I blasted them, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. I get a lot of that. That's the thing about having a channel. I don't care how nice you are. And speaking of nice, we're going to have Joe, Profit First Reseller, on Fridays live. I don't care how nice you are. You can be as nice as that guy, and I'm sure you're going to get some kind of off the wall hate on your videos.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you got to deal with it. I don't know if I could ever get to your level where you're like, I don't give up. I just don't know if I can do that. Lone Wolf Resellers. I didn't know it was a holiday for the US. It is Labor Day, and for me, I was certainly dealing with labor. I was laborious today. Did you take it easy today, or were you working?
So I went to the flea market. My brother was here for overnight. He's on his way. They're going to Oklahoma or somewhere. So we went and grabbed something to eat last night and ran to the flea market this morning for a few hours. And I've listed half the stuff I bought on the way back when I got back. So I've still got a few more items on the list, but I've got the auction tomorrow. I've got to load in. So Johnny had just come out a few minutes ago looking for some printing because she's been doing like one of the 3 tables, putting some of her stuff on there. So I've got to get the van loaded tonight and get all that set up. But
yeah. Flip It Good's with us. Nice to see Flip It Good. Grams and Pops says, where am I? Why is this happening? Let's see. We've got Jane's Jungle Safari. Nice to see you, Jane. And hopefully you're able to send me your address. You did win the package of goodies, including this eBay tumbler that I picked up at eBay Open. So I'm trying to get it out of here and get it to you. So send me. I didn't check my email if you've sent it since, but please make sure you do that. We got James the Juice PA Picker. I've been ready for Q4 months ago. This guy's on point. This guy is just on it. So I thought I was on it. I met James and I'm like just in awe of his process. This guy is a lot like you used to be with your Amazon. He's like going state to state, finding things to buy and to resell. But I mean with employees and warehouses, and it's like that's awesome. Let me ask you something. If you were able to find the ideal thing that was going to make you money, but you had to return back to driving state to state, would you do it at this point?
No. So interesting you say that. I ran into a friend at the flea market whose wife they're a few years younger than us, but she is battling the same breast cancer, has the same doctors. Johnny had the same surgeon, the same everything. And we were just talking about, she's like, I'm not the same person dealing with this. I'll never be the same person again. And I looked right at Brad and said, Brad, you're not either. And from this point forward, if I go somewhere, I'm already thinking about, these are days with my wife that, are precious because, that has happened. So that really changed it for me. It wasn't the fact that, I can still get out there and find stuff. That's not a problem. But it's the fact that I don't enjoy it anymore because you change your priorities whenever a loved one goes through fights a battle that puts your life in jeopardy. It changes who you are and it rearranges your priorities for sure. So I would not, if I could do it temporarily, like run a few days and come back, I might, but it's weeks at a time, because I'd go out, I'd leave on Sunday and come back Saturday, twice a month. I do that. That's what I was doing. And yeah, that's not an option anymore.
See, I respect the grind. I mean, it's one thing to get up every day and to just get up and get your stuff listed. That's a grind, but it's another level of grind when you can get up and go, I got to go and hit 3 states today, maybe this weekend, and get the stuff that I need. That's another grind altogether. And it was a grind that I was living for a little while in 2019, driving from California to Vegas. But after a couple months of it, it's like, yeah, I'd rather just move out to Vegas if I'm going to come out here twice a month, It's just odd that we're able to find that type of merchandise.
I enjoy seeing the country and a lot of states I've never been to, but then the thing that changes is now, now that she's on the other side of it, you're like, I did all that by myself. What good did I gain?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a proverb there that talks about that, but and I can't remember it word for word because I'm not great at that kind of stuff. But but also too that craziness was the blessing that allowed me to see her through, because that crazy video came off of a 24-hour road trip to Walmart from here to Memphis. Rise and Grind Shane's in the audience. I talked to him most of that night. He did the same thing. Just my video went crazy and his didn't. I guess it's the beard. I don't know. But it's a crazy night, a crazy day of that kind of travel that video paid for, to me to take off 3 months so that I could take her to every appointment while she battled breast cancer. So.
Yeah. And so, I mean, at this point, that's really anything more than a day is kind of out of the cards for you.
It just is. I mean, unless she went with me. So like Saturday, I got some footage. There's about an hour from here, there was a 50-mile yard sale thing. And we did about the first 25 miles of it. And it is very enjoyable, even though she physically can't get out at every one, having her, I mean, she gives me a lot of grief, and y'all already know that, but it was a lot more fun. And plus too, and Shane's right, he's talking, you'll see him down there. It's the eBay doesn't need to travel as much. I can find and source in this area, whether it's the flea market here or there's a couple flea markets a couple hours away that you can get to and get back. Yard sales here are pretty strong. If I need to, I could do yard sales in Nashville. Estate sales are very strong in this area. There's plenty of, we've got a Ben's that's been open, which I haven't even been to yet. They've been open a year or so. I haven't even made it over there yet. So there's opportunity here.
Yeah.
If you look for it.
I agree. There's I'm still on plan A, plan B sometimes. I mean, if I had to do plan C and D, yard sales, and if I had to go to place like the bins, or I mean, I'd have to change models and make it work. But thankfully, I don't have to do that. Oops, I shipped myself. This is best August yet. The sales shipped in heavy, and now I'm ready to ship myself into September. So how was your August in sales? Was it pretty good? Pretty solid?
Yeah, very solid. And I've been building some projects and stuff too that are showing success and really getting me very excited for what the future holds for folks. eBay is not dead. eBay is, search seems to be gotten a little better. Sales seems to be better for everybody. I'm very optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic that they are. I just don't play any games this fourth quarter. They are famous for rolling out craziness in the fourth quarter and breaking their own systems. Can y'all just sit this one out, guys? eBay, please just sit this one out.
Yeah, I never understood why before Q4 they roll out something that would break something, and it's like, why? Wait until like the middle of January, and then do something, right? But maybe they're like, well, we got to get ready for Q4 too. But I don't want eBay to get ready for Q4 like that. I just want to make sure that everything systems are go. There's no issues with servers or who the hell knows with search or anything like that. I just want everything to be running smooth. Maybe use the summer to get ready for Q4. Don't use October to get ready for Q4. I've just never understood that. And, a lot of the changes that they've announced at eBay Open, just put them into play into effect already. You don't need to wait till September or October, do you, to implement those things? I've never understood that.
A lot of them didn't seem like they mess with the meat and potatoes of the operation. You know what I mean? It's automatic feedback. It's things that are on the periphery that hopefully are not in. Maybe as they get more and more, the hope is the more they use AI, the smarter their upgrades will be. You know what I mean? The smarter. So.
Yeah. Let's hope that this is a smooth Q4 for everyone and there's no issues. I had an issue today, and I shared it with Beard before the show. I do my daily offers. Now, many of you guys who watch the show know that I do something totally off the wall. Most people don't do it this way. I send offers. My items are already priced like $79.99, $89.99, and I price when I send an offer, I send 11.11%. That's what I do. I send my offers. Why do you do 11.11%? So if I do $69.99, I use 11.11%. I think it comes out to like $62 or $63.99. I keep the 99 cents. Just something that for most prices, it just works out that way. am I trying to grab them like 11%? You have a 10% coupon. No, I'm just I'm working the algorithm, trying to put out offers for people. Most people will, not take it because it's not enticing enough. But I got one guy that received an offer, and he paid for it. And then he messaged me saying, I didn't get the 20% discount you promised. I don't offer 20% discounts. He sent me a screenshot that showed that he was offered a 20% discount. So I ended up giving a few more dollars back. But I don't know if I'm the only one that saw that, but I have the screenshot of where it said that I sent out a 20% offer, and I did not. So I don't know what that's about at all. I'm wondering if anybody has found that. Real quick, Thomas S., thank you for the super chat. Happy Labor Day, aka list as much as you can day. That's awesome of you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, so anybody out there who's seen glitches, please report them, because we all need to know, if something's happening. I'm not quite sure if it just showed 20%, but it showed the correct pricing because it showed the $63.99 as his price. I don't know. I just gave him like $8. I figured out the difference and just moved on. But if it continues to happen, that's something worth opening up a ticket for, I think. Let's see. The next thing I think we should be doing to get ready for Q4, and this is something that seems to be already happening. When I go to the places that I go to, there's a lot more people there picking up stuff, multiple places, and it is stocking up or your inventory and diversify your inventory. So this is the time of year where it seems like a lot of people are just ramping up, buying more things, getting more stuff stocked up in their store, versus, I guess, maybe some stores just take the time off in the summer. Like, I'm not even going to deal with the summer slowdown. I'll wait till September and start ramping up. Do you think that you're pretty much ready with the inventory you need for Q4, or are you just kind of going with it the way you've been going with it?
I just keep going with it. I've got plenty to list if I can't find anything, but I'm much better at listing new stuff than
yeah.
I don't know why. It's the shiny new penny. I don't know why. Like, I'll get home and list quite a few things of stuff I pick up, and then still have a big pile of stuff over here that I haven't gotten to, which is kind of, I need to change that. It's kind of frustrating.
Let me dispel a rumor real quick. Bookworld says John has his own AI listing tool launching very soon. It's why he doesn't want to say much. That's not it at all. I do not have my own personal AI tool. I will not endorse any AI tool unless I can use it for either one of my stores. And because I sell many, many different things in many, many different categories, I can't niche down to make it worth my time. I don't see, like, I love my bulletized item descriptions, so my buyers can get in there, easily read what this item does. There's a lot of things that I'd like to see in the perfect AI listing tool that I've not seen anywhere yet, and therefore it just doesn't fit what I do. Now, is it something that won't work for others? Certainly it will work for others, but right now I think what is going to work for me is like 4, 5, 6 months away. Who knows? We'll see. But I right now, I just don't want to endorse any kind of program. Look, it's not about affiliate marketing or that stuff's all secondary to me. My reputation means more than that. I want to be able to say that the tool that I use works for me and I can be excited about it. I'm not excited about any of these tools right now, if I'm being honest. As excited as Beard is, but Beard is making changes with what he's selling to conform to these tools. You weren't really selling DVDs and CDs and stuff like that before, right?
I was, but it'd be only new ones. There'd be certain ones. I've decided to figure out different ways to make the tool effective for me in my business. And does it mean buying more of other things? It does, but you just got to be careful too, because like John always says, you still got to take care of the 75%. What's the 75% of your business? And so it's a difficult thing to try to up one side of something you're not doing versus, and because you naturally will lose some on the other. So I'm being very diligent to watch the time I spend, to understand that I can't let, not make the same mistake I made with whatnot, where I let it did too much of that. And so Keith says he's got the same hat. Good job, Keith.
Well, Dave's concerned about you. Are you okay? You're talking a little too much about reselling, and he's not used to it.
I told him we might have to go and drink tonight. Drink and smoke to make up for all this.
This is the beard that's not drinking. He's really focused on reselling tonight. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, because those 2 beers I have on Friday night are real killer. I'm telling you, the last
you break out the bottle of Crown, that's when I get worried.
I bought a 24-pack of Miller Lite, and it made it through 8 shows.
Oops says I tried AI on a pair of Kato jeans. 2 hours later, $24 richer. Guess Skynet's got resell skills. AI is getting better every day. I think AI is improving. I use AI all the time on my second store when I'm generating like an item description for a part, right, that I'm selling. Lone Wolf Reseller. I'm thankful for List Easier. It helped me up my game. I mean, if those tools help your game, hey, awesome, outstanding. Let's see. Oh yeah, Dave's got to hit his bong, so we all know that. So I think we are pretty much all on the same page. At least most of us are. That right now is the time you have to get yourself ready for Q4 and get your stuff bought. I hate saying that because I don't want to create competition for myself and find there's more people out buying and stuff to resell, but it is what it is. I think that's probably the most obvious one. How do you ramp up for Q4? Buy stuff to sell. You don't want to find that come end of October, you're counting on yard sales or other places because you're out of inventory. And I've been there, guys, and it's because people ramp up. I'm now competing with other sellers to buy the same pallets or liquidation, and because I don't want to pay up for the liquidation, I'm now trying to find, or making purchases that I would never purchase throughout the other part of the year just to try to get stuff listed.
Yeah, I think that's a skill people don't talk about as much as is in this rush to get more things in Q4. You need your personal rules about buying and what percentages you need to make and the amount of money you're going to put out. That's not the time to sacrifice what you do in order to, sales are not the end all be all. If you pay too much for inventory but you got more sales out of it, what have you gained? You haven't gained. You've worked harder to make eBay some money.
Yeah.
And so, that's a cautionary tale, because I know a reseller that sold $1 million on Amazon and lost money. It can be done.
It can be done. Penny Pincher wants to know, did Granger and Uline merge? Do you know that?
No. So Granger I put a comment on there. Granger is very active. Looks like they're trying to get some of Uline's business through eBay because they are very active and out there and advertising. And if you search for any size box, they're spending some promoted listing money because they show up at the top of search almost every time.
Oops, I shit myself. Do I keep grinding eBay or embrace my new life as a Powerball millionaire? I promise you're not a Powerball millionaire. There's never an eBay full-time reseller that's a millionaire. At least
so. Is Powerball, is it high right now? Is that why when I was coming back? So the flea market is right over the line in right 2 miles in Tennessee. When I was coming back, all those gas stations were all busy. The 2 little lotto busy. They were just hammer full. Is the lotto up? Is that why?
Well, if it is, I'm reaching out to my son and having him buy some tickets out there in California. Because we can't buy them in Vegas. We have no place here in Vegas. You can't buy them in Alabama either, right?
No, and this says it's higher than Dave, so there you go.
Let's see. Mike G says, eBay rep I work with stated at least 7 photos in my category. He highlighted all my listings that had less. I've since increased the ones that had 5 to 7. I'm telling you, there's something about that. I mean, it may just seem like this. What's the big deal? I mean, they're in my listing. I have 5 photos. What does it matter if I have 2 more? Well, apparently eBay, they have the data, and they are convinced that the more photos you utilize, the better the buying experience and the better chance of conversion. I don't know. It's something that I do focus on, though.
So I think that we talk a lot too about, checking your price, and as you're reviewing your listings, don't forget the pictures, folks. You can, maybe it's the angle, maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's, something's off with the picture. Take a look at the picture, and from a fresh point of view, is that something that you would purchase? Maybe you need to reshoot some pictures. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah. Sutter's Mill says front cover, back cover, spine, shrink wrap, watermarks, barcode, ISBN, UPC, special features, or hype stickers. Yes, hype stickers for all those. Do have more value. I found that out when I was listing LPs a couple years ago when I was dealing with that lot, that hype stickers tend to fetch a little bit more money than if you have no hype stickers. Thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, like Rise and Grind Picker says, 98% of this whole thing that we're talking about is showing up and doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Hustle Man, Jonathan, triple P on a Monday. Nice. Well, it would be the double P, right? Because Josh is currently I guess he's handling customer service issues right now, isn't he?
This is the Canada free version.
Yeah, the Canada free version. But yeah, he's dealing with a lot of customer service issues. He's playing tech support right now.
I don't know. He took a picture this morning. He posted on YouTube at some lake or somewhere. So it must not be killing him that bad.
That must not be. Rise and Grind Picker says, I think stale items are shat. eBay thinks stale items are shat. As good as you might think your item is, there's people that are listing the similar items that are getting more impressions and more sales possibly because their items are fresher. Mike G says, I update most of my listings every 3 months. But you don't really deal with that. You don't really do an end item sell similar process with what you have, do you? Beard?
No, I do not. I've got some older items that just need to be. So I have a different process. If it sits there too long, I will send it to the auction and be done with it.
Thomas has the tip. Q4 tip: always stay ahead of your shipping. Do them on the weekend and do them at night. I'm a believer that eBay won't give you full exposure if you have 20 pending shipments. Let them know you can keep up. I haven't seen that, but hey, I had 17 between Friday and Saturday, and then yesterday, and halfway through yesterday, so I got those all knocked out. So I think another 7 more to deal with tonight for tomorrow. Rise and Grind Picker, I don't update any of my listings. Now I'm wondering, is anybody like Rise and Grind? Would you be willing to take, a month and try to update your listings to see and do everything else that you're normally doing? Add that one thing to your processes. Update your listings. I don't care if it's end item sell similar or not, but would you be willing to try that to see if you'd see any difference?
He's got a bigger store. I think he's 7,000, 8,000 listings.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Pork Chop says, dang, my whole store is almost stale. I think that's not a good place to be. I think you really want to be in a place where your listings are fresh. Like I said, I've been talking about doing it, just been so busy. You don't realize when you hand over a task to somebody. So Jenna does the shipping when she's here. It's just takes that time away from the time that I'd have to do a lot of the other things. I wanted to work on AI, right? Because I want to develop my own AI agent running in the background to do some mundane tasks, right? How's your progress on that? I know you were talking about that on Wednesday. Have you been working on that at all?
I had to do what I needed to do, but I have not. John taught me how to using the method he's using versus the agent.
What other method is it?
He's using. You can divide it up into projects to where everything. So I've created my own CFO.
For accounting, has that worked out okay?
Yeah, so I got the P&L done. I still got to get the balance sheet. I forgot about it. It was due yesterday, so oops.
Mike G says, I do my 3-month listings that haven't sold daily by sorting the ones that end for the day. Lone Wolf says, I got 2,700 items still listed on eBay that were listed before 2020. Now, I hope, though, that you've relisted them or ended them and did the relist at least. There's one thing to have an item that you've had in your store, you've listed once, you've never looked at it again. I think that is like beyond stale. That's like in decay, right? I mean, I don't know what terminology you'd have for a 5-year-old item if you're not doing anything with it. If it's a 5-year-old item and you're doing something like ending it, sell similar every so often, changing the price, tweaking the title, I would think that has a better chance of selling. You know,
Yeah,
it might
there's
tell you a lot about what you're selling.
Figure out what's wrong with those listings. You know, is it demand? Is it price? Because remember, the only way if it's low demand, the only way to overcome that is low price.
Yeah, at least for my business, I agree with Spam here. End and sell similar is a must. I use the end and relist only because I don't have to go back in and end the items or delete the items out of my ended folder. Relist does that for you. That's the only difference I see. So end item and relist will still give you the new item tag next to the title in search. Jovial's with us, says, hey, FA fam, happy National Forgiveness Day. I forgive you, Beard. You are forgiven.
I don't know what I did, but okay.
Maybe nothing at all, but in case you did, I forgive you.
Can it be preemptive so I can go do stuff?
No. Doesn't work that way. Record Crate says, hi, Bridget. Well, hello to you too. Thomas's he ends and sells similar one item to every 2 new listings. So I think everyone's got a little process. And to me is, I don't care how it's done as long as that item is not over 30 days old. Now, according to eBay, they measure things that are up to 90 days old. I'm not a believer of doing the daily end and sell similar like some like do the daily nuclear reset. I don't believe in that because you do need to give it time to reindex if you want to, count on some external sales on Google Shopping and some other platforms like Bing and all that. You want to give those platforms time to reindex your item. I think for me, the sweet spot's 1 out of every 30 days. Keith says, I don't end and sell similar often. I do it maybe every 90 days. Okay. Larry Way Out's with us. Nice to see you, Larry Way Out. Hi, Scott and John. Hope you both had great weekends. I appreciate you, Larry. You know what? I'm fine. I went to the casino yesterday to take a break and didn't do all that well playing poker, at least this time. Came home and said, it's time to do a video and time to get some shipping done. So that's kind of how my weekend's been. It sucks to do holiday weekends alone, but I know that Jenna's having a good time with her sisters. So Samantha says, hi, John, Jenna, and Beard chat. Good day. I have to rewatch the live, so have a good chat, and we'll talk next time. Yes. Thanks for at least swinging by and letting us know that you're okay. Rise and Grind Picker says, back in the Amazon days, I was living from hotel rooms. That sounds like what you're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Breaking down in Louisiana and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I went everywhere except for except for Iowa, and that's the closest state I missed. Iowa and then Minnesota.
So Anissa's with us. She says eBay needs to fix their search. Have you seen any problems with the search recently? Or are we talking? It ain't even fixed yet. What are you talking about? Have you seen problems recently?
She sells feet pictures, so.
Well, let's get on to the third. And I ran this through a conversation through AI to come up with some of these ideas. I don't necessarily think that all these things are necessary to get ready for Q4. But the third bullet point that I was given is refine pricing and promotions. Then we talked about the pricing as updating your listings, but research competitors' prices using eBay search tools or third-party repricers to stay competitive without undercutting profits. Set up promotions to like buy one, get one deals, bundle offers. I know James does like a buy 2 CD, get 2 free kind of thing. Allocate budgets for eBay promoted listings to increase visibility. Target high margin items first. I'm looking at that all the time. Test price adjustments on a few listings to see what drives your sales. So that is certainly what I would say to do. Do you ever scrutinize your pricing, or you just say, you know what, I'm going to go with it and lower it as I go? Or
I have a tendency to keep a sale of some sort running, so I will price at the top of the solds, and then after a week it'll be added to a sale, and just keep.
So Todd is sort of in the on the team with Nissa here, that there's the search is still screwy. Now, look, I don't shop a whole lot on eBay. The last purchase I bought the hex clad pans. By the way, this is not a cooking channel, but I know Biff is out there. These are some awesome flipping pans. I have my stainless steel pans, and these are just tremendous. Can't give them enough shining reviews, because they're just, as a cook, they're awesome. Rise and Grind says the eBay search on clothing is non-existent. And the thing with the clothing, though, I mean, we were working with Jane on her store on the members only, and like a sweater, a zip up, women's zip up sweater, there was like what 3,200 different ones up for sale. And I think it's just, you're dealing with a very, very saturated market or category when you're talking about clothing, you know, and it's bound to be more screwed up than a category that isn't as saturated. What do you think about the saturation in certain categories? There's a lot of sellers that are continuing to focus in their efforts on these saturated categories. What advice would you have to those who maybe just, I'm a clothing seller and that's what I'm happy doing? What advice would you give them going into Q4 to improve their situation?
A lot of the same thing we've already said. It's control.
Uh-oh. I don't know if Beard bailed on us. I don't know. Maybe his internet's, he just got his internet upgraded. And so there's no excuses. He shouldn't have these issues, but he did come back. Let me remove that, and I'll add him to the stage. Bear with me a second. Hold on. It's not letting me. Hold on. Kick that from the studio. I don't want to kick out the guest. For whatever reason, move from stage. I'll add you. There we go. That's weird. It now has two of you, one with your internet issue. Junk Trader and Nitsa, the search is not helping people search. Something I'm going to have to take a deep dive into. I haven't seen a problem with it.
I think it's just going to get different the more we get into AI. I really do think that AI is going to be doing the searching, and it'll search for items. You know, the more information you can include in an item, the better an AI search can pick it up. I think eventually there's going to be one big search that'll say, "Hey, we found." They're going to say, "Chat GPT, go find, or Grok, go find. Where can I find this?" And it's going to show you. It's searching these websites. It's going to come back and say, "Here are your options." And so, if you want to be competitive, you know, you need to, the days of price gouging and, man, I found this. It's worth $1 million. Well, it's only worth what the market says it's worth, and it's because Amazon has been famous for, I've got the last item, I can triple the price. That don't always work anymore, especially when you've got different marketplace. That I think is search is going to be more generic. It's not going to be platform search anymore. I truly believe that the next 12 to 18 months is going to be off platform search that really drives a lot of sales.
Yeah, like you're boosting your exposure through social media, like maybe TikTok or Instagram, Facebook. Something
Depends
I've
on
never
what the platform you sell on. So like if you're a Whatnot seller, which we don't talk about that a lot right this second, TikTok to Whatnot translates very well. it's because that is both of them are younger audiences, younger platforms. They transfer very well. So figure if that's something you do over there, if you figure out what transfers for your sales and you to help out.
I can't imagine doing a TikTok video for my store on eBay. Hey, come and check out Value Trends, where you'll find, I have no freaking idea what I have for sale right now, but you'll find something there. Go check it out. That's not going to get anyone over there. But if you're a niche seller, you might be able to get a certain, group of people that are interested in whatever you are selling, because that's what they're into. So,
but yeah, for saturated markets, you're going to be price and exposure. Is that, are you using the tools on the platform to be seen, whichever platform you sell on?
How about Penny Pincher? I know you've been working on this. Does anyone use AI for the receipts? So do you use AI for your receipts?
So I uploaded my business account to it and let it help me sort it through. So it not necessarily receipts, because I try to use my card for everything. Even if it's, yard sale money on a Friday, it's that straight amount of dollars goes into to my cost. So for cash cost. So it was able to help me very quickly itemize and expenses.
So Susan says that I've been seeing a glitch with eBay not removing something I sold. Not sure why. Hard to say. That's why I moved from end item sell similar to end item relist, so that there's no chance that there's an item stuck in my end items, so that when I do another batch the next day, I have an extra item that I've already listed again in my batch to relist. So that's kind of why I do it now that way. But no, it's one reason why you have to do inventory every so often. Q4 ain't the time for that. I'd say the best time to do Q4, find when it's slow for you on the platform. And that's sort of the time of year you should be, I would say, spending that time to make sure you don't have duplicate items. I found a couple duplicate items in my second store. I have no idea how they ended up getting there. Hustleman says, I noticed that on some of my listings, it shows an extra coupon on top of my coupon. I haven't seen that. Here's a question from Ashley Sims. I'm wondering if shipping supplies will go up in the coming months when the big suppliers in the U.S. start running low on inventory. What's your thoughts on that?
A lot of that stuff's made here. Boxes and things a lot of that stuff made here.
Jovial says, I've had that 20% off issue as well. Went into my listings and somehow there were about 5% of my listings that offered automatic 20% off. I hope eBay is not getting in there and trying to help us boost our sales without us, setting that number, because that's no good. Yeah, Dave says, with John's new listing AI tool, it'll be called Listing Ain't Easier. No, I ain't dealing with, I ain't creating my own commercial anything. If I create any kind of AI program, it's just going to be for my own personal use. Junk Trader says, I separate my receipts month by month in flat rate envelopes. Very handy. I have one of those receipt things. I don't know where it's. Oh, it's right here. I just put my receipts on one of these. Just don't slam it down with your hand, because you'll get injured. Rise and Grind has something for you guys to smoke. Ashley Sims says, go ahead.
That didn't work out good the last time.
Ashley Sims says, I'm pretty pumped up about an auction I have going that has less than 3 hours left. Early 1900s tornado snapshot I got for 75 cents has a bid for 150. Crossing fingers it goes up. That's awesome. But be happy for that 150. That's outstanding. Basket Noodles is with us. Nice to see you, Basket Noodle. And in it to flip it says, the wife's not looking quite like herself today. Yeah, she shaved her head and glued it to her face. I don't think that's going to work out for next time. How about this? How many sellers out there, and this is the 5th bullet point on the topic, boost customer service and reputation? Now, it's saying basically that you should aim to maintain top-rated seller status, of course. It's better than being above standard. And respond to messages within hours, proactively communicate about potential delays. I'll go a step further, proactively communicate. Over this weekend, I shipped out 20 some odd items, and I went in with a canned message saying, we're going to ship this item on Tuesday. Thank you for your business, blah, blah, blah. And about, I'd say, a third of them replied back, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This builds trust and improves your. Now, AI says, and I don't necessarily believe this, it says this builds trust and your search rankings on eBay's Cassini algorithm. I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with how you place and search by being proactive with your buyers. I know account health does. So don't get me wrong. If you're top rated, you're going to have a better placement than someone who's above standard. But if you are dealing with kind of iffy metrics right now, it's time to work on that so that you are in top seller status or top rated seller status when we get into Q4. That's for sure. You don't want to be anywhere below that. Dave says, John, the sellers have spoken. Got to hit them with some Sicilian shadows or silicone shadows. That song hasn't come out yet. I'm waiting for silicone shadows to hit. Looking at the trailer, says it's over $1 billion right now. What's over $1 billion right now?
The lottery.
Okay. Mike just got it to ching. Don't forget to hit that like, guys. Hit the like button. Get your sale within the next 24 hours. I don't know how it works, but people report that it does. Here it is right there. Then and now collectibles. 2 sales since hitting the like. It's just happening. I have my sell already. Keith says, okay, eBay says items are stale or stagnant is the word. So stale is 90 days. Stagnant is over 6 months, according to that report. After time period, I have things sell that's been listed for like 12 months without doing anything to them. And that's not saying a stagnant or stale item won't sell, but a stagnant item is going to be lower than it could be in a prospective buyer search.
Yeah, they're drawing tonight 1.1 billion.
1.1 billion. I need to get
a couple hours. Am I the only one that's really skeptical of that? As how many times can somebody in California win?
I don't know. Hopefully it's us. I'm gonna call my son and have him at least put a 20 spot on some tickets for me. Biff says, John, would you include more than 2 photos of a baseball card or a photo? Yes, I would. How would you do that, John? Front, back, that's obvious. Corners, so unique things about that photo. So could be like an old picture, the unique thing that sticks out. Maybe there's some handwriting, just some zooms. I would do a lot of zooms. And it may be nothing to the buyer, but it's more so for the algorithm, I think, that I'm trying to play to. A lot of the things that I do, like the offers to 11.11%, if I have a 10% coupon, is not that big of a deal. It's not going to entice someone by price. I'm playing to the algorithm. And so a lot of the things that I do, I'm trying to you can call it game in the system all you want. There's a system, and it's like having a strategy when you play any game. If you play Monopoly and your strategy is to buy every property and every house and hotel, then you're going to do that, right? Well, maybe I'm only buying railroads. I played against people who only bought railroads. There's a method to their madness. They're exploiting what they think is a winnable, way to win the game, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to win the game. Biff says, I sell mainly 2-dimensional items and eBay recommends 5 to 6 photos. I'm not doing that times 40,000. I'm already at the very top of conversion, better than 99.93% of my niche competition with front and back. If you can't do any better, okay. So here's the thing. You're in the top of your search as compared to your competition. So your issue isn't about exposure. You're getting the impressions you need. You're on page 1. Now they're in your listing and you're getting the conversion that you want. What else can you do? Adding more photos is only going to add more work, and it may not add any more sales. So unless you're unhappy with the number of sales you're getting, and that's when you should be making the change. Don't just change for the sake of changing if everything is good. No Bullshit says, I do not depend on eBay for living or any type of important income. They went from 10 to 20% of every sale that someone takes. It's absurd. They have a monopoly and taking advantage of people. But you have control over that. You don't have to subscribe to the suggested rates. Using dynamic, I would never use dynamic, even with the cap, because you might as well just have the cap. Then I have a cap. My cap's 10%, and I don't start at 10%. Beard, what's your cap on promoted listing? I know you use promoted listing. What's your cap?
6.
6, and that's it. You draw the line.
It was higher and didn't really. I have a hard time believing that every single 90% of my listings only sell promoted whenever. So I dropped it down. It was 8. It was 9. I dropped it to 6. I haven't seen a significant difference.
Damn, Dave just got through shipping 60 items to Amazon FBA. Let them do the rest. There you go. Then and Now Collectibles has picked up a few McDonald's Shania Twain pink cowboy boot pins, Canada exclusive. Wish I was shipping to the US. They would sell, but they still sell here good. I'm wondering how sales overall right now are in Canada. If you're a Canadian seller that sells both the US and to Canada, how much are you dropping off because of the lack of a US market? Just curious about that. Honor's Cause revising the promoted rate, having some issues with that. Sorry to hear that. SCG Collectibles says, I just don't like that the fact that influencers say they're having no slowdown in sales. I beg to differ that all they say are true. My sales have been all right, but nowhere near what they get. But we're all selling different things. So one thing I try to make a point of, and it's not as a brag, but it's this kind of comment where people are like, I don't want to hear that you're, doing well in sales when I'm not. So just to show you, and I'll just throw this on the screen real quick. Whoops, that's not the right one. Let me show you, because if I don't show you, then maybe I don't have the same amount of credibility. Share my screen real fast. So here we go. There's my sales right here. And there it is. I have $555 a day. Sold $4,200 in the last 7 days, $18,000 in the last 31 days, $44,000 in the last 90 days. Last 90 days is most of the summer. So, there you go. And again, it's not meant to be a brag or anything like that. Whoops, sorry, Scott, hit the wrong button. I had to fix the screen. So it's not a brag. It's just to let you guys know that, yeah, there are people that will misrepresent what they're doing to get more views and clicks. I promise you that's not what Beard and I are doing. I make it a point to vet people. If we're saying we're doing what we're doing, that's what we're doing, guys. And that's why I'm so fired up. It's possible to make decent money on eBay. You just got to be doing the right things. And this says, here's the thing. If it doesn't show me what I am looking for, how can I buy? Or why would I buy? I don't care what they think I should buy. Now show me what I've asked for, nothing more, nothing less. It's not perfect based on just the number of people, commenting on this issue, but it's not broken to where it's not usable, if that makes sense. I mean, what's your idea? Do you have any thoughts at all on search in its current form?
They've tried so hard to be Amazon because they saw how much money Amazon made selling their search that they've sold out search to promoted listings. It's terrible that you've got to fight through the first 3, 4, 5 items. The thing that I dislike the most about eBay search is how much they put on promoted versus anything else. Because I'll be looking up an item or searching for an item, and to eBay's detriment, they show me the most expensive one because there's a business model out there where these people are paying the highest to promote, and then their item is double. I'll look up something and go, damn, that's a good find. And I'll scroll a couple of them down and go, well, not really. And then you go look at solds, and they don't sell at that price. Very rare. I mean, every now and a blue moon. But that's, how eBay, how do you chase people away? Show them items that are the most double what they regularly cost. You want to make people unhappy when they figure out, if they do figure out, because the first thing you're going to do is, and how does that work? So if I'm paying super high promoted to get number one in search so I can have double the price, eBay is going to show you, for the most part, a cheaper version of the same item on your way to checkout. How many times do they get the people find other items? How many times do you disappoint a customer overpriced because you are highlighting the most expensive one?
Right.
That's,
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Here's something Biff says: if there are YouTube channels that all about selling in your niche, it's time to move on. I suffered almost a year from this. I got to tell you, if I ever sold in a niche, I probably would have to hang up my YouTube channel. If I had to talk about what I sell all the time, I've watched what happened with Josh Galt. You know, people buying stuff that he's, you know, he talked about his stereo views, and here comes people out of the woodwork selling stereo views. Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't do a niche and have a channel. So, you know, I'm doing the everything selling, and it's working for me. It's working for me. There's so many things that you can sell on eBay. It's easy to be an everything seller. And the old adage, well, you got to be an expert to be really successful in what you're selling. I don't need to be an expert. If I want to know more about an item I'm selling, I just got to ask AI. It'll tell me all I need to know. Tommy Z says, quit selling clothes, too many returns. I'm not Amazon. Yep, but eBay wants you to be. We're getting pretty close. We got another maybe 15, 20 minutes. You good? 20 more minutes?
no, never. Sure.
Jane says, and as I'm restructuring, that is the size I have, the most I have left. Sorry, typing in Arabic. That's interesting. Sorry, but that was a comment for us. And this is that I put a main measurement in clothing and get few returns. I think it's all about the more information you give, and I think that's why eBay's hyper focused on putting more photos in your listing. The more information you can provide a prospective buyer, the more questions you can ask, and the less disappointment you will give that buyer when they buy it. Wild in New England says, my mom turned 95 in June. Well, congrats to your mom. That's awesome. Rise and Grind Picker says, when I run out of box, thank goodness I'll have cereal boxes. No, if I run out of boxes, I ain't turning to Kellogg's. I'm going to go down the street I'll go to Walmart before I do any of that.
Well, it's important to understand too where you can find things. Do you have a Granger in your area? Because Granger has pickup. You know, they carry a lot of the normal sizes. You know, I don't like Walmart boxes; they're too thin. Staples will carry some boxes.
But you'd rather use the Walmart box than a Cheerios box, right?
Oh, you're assuming that I would use a Cheerios box.
I'm talking about in a pinch. It's like, damn it, my mailman's coming here in a half an hour. What can I do for this item? Maybe you're behind in your shipping.
It gets shipped tomorrow. I don't. Yeah.
We run a tight ship here. We do same day. Ashley Sims says, I've been working harder to give my repeat customers what they want and communicating more that I can create custom bundles. There you go. Your buyers like that. I promise you. This whole adage, someone said, oh, you send them a message that you shipped the item or thanking them for their purchase. People are going to see that as spam and they're going to be pissed off about it. I promise you, they are more concerned about their item that they just spent their hard-earned money on and the status of that item than some other piece of spam that they've received in the mail. I promise you, they won't take it the same way. And it's a flip. It says eBay is not a monopoly, but they do have the largest audience after Amazon. And that's why I'm here on the platform. Despite eBay's problems, I will continue to sell there because it's about traffic. Basket Noodle says July was sales near dead for me in sales. Not that I was working it. This past weekend, $800 without doing a dang thing. Sold 5 items. So sales are out there. We got Kent with us. Nice to see you, Kent. What's going on? Basket Noodle says, yep, that's why I appreciate the John Show. Straight up and forward. I try to be. When I'm doing bad, you guys are gonna know about it too. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna tell you, hey, I'm dealing with slow sales. It happens to all of us. Joey says, dang, John, you're rocking it. Way to go. Yeah. I've got to ship these things. I'm not used to doing it. You know, Jenna's not here. So for other reasons, I can't wait for her to come back. But, it's my biggest employee is or partner is not here. Then in Out Collectibles, for me in Canada, it's been good for no U.S. shipping. Facebook Marketplace picks up the stock for me, selling older eBay stock fast. And you got to learn. I think that's the biggest takeaway when you're not doing well or you run into adversity is you can't just be stagnant. You got to adjust. You have to adjust. I mean, there's a reason why beard doesn't sell on Amazon, right? Not so much anymore.
Not so much. I do so. I mean, so we went to a long yard sale, and I one of the reasons I wanted to do that was because there was a couple of smaller stores that I had real good success with, and so we did. I made way more money doing RA than I did doing the yard sales. And but you just got to be flexible. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do two things at the same time. I did with the intention of doing the yard sales. I guess I did three things because I shot video. I shot video. I bought eBay stuff and bought Amazon stuff, and came home. So it was a good day. I just got to edit the video now. I gave Joni a camera too, and so she's talking in the car into the camera while I'm out wandering around. I don't even know what she said.
So she's gonna be on your channel? She's gonna start doing videos with you?
Oh yeah, she because I've got two GoPros, so she kept one GoPro because physically she can't get out at every yard sale, and some of the big groups of like 30 or 40 vendors, I would just run around to, and there's no telling what she said on the camera.
I think if you include her more in your videos and your channel, I think it'll actually it'll help your channel. I mean, you're sitting at about 70,000.
Yeah, 69 something.
Yeah, I think that would go a long way to help a little bit. But here I am at 27. I'm like, I wish I was at 69,000, 70,000. Basketball. Go ahead.
Todd, cha-ching number 2. Man, hush, Todd.
Basketball says, I sell niche. Granted, I don't work too awful hard at it these days, but I've been a competing seller, for example, who buys at eBay and sells at eBay. He's doing it at least $7,000 a year per month. That's awesome. Then and Out Collectibles. Hopefully, Canadian sellers can ship again to the U.S. Need more clarity first. Too risky right now. Hopefully, I don't have to go in and add COO and not all have it in the listing. What's COO? I don't know what that is. Daniel Rushing says, well, another satisfied lister with a sale after clicking the thumbs up tonight. Telling you guys, you click the thumbs up, you're going to get your sale. It may not get it during the show, but it'll happen in the next 24 hours. I know it will. Basketball says, Walmart has been gathering up quality vendors. They are no nonsense going after Amazon, and ship to store is booming. I know a lot of people have moved from Amazon to Walmart. I've tinkered with Amazon over the years. I haven't sold there in about a year. I just don't see the need to pay $40 a month for their pro seller if I'm not selling. I was like selling once a month, one item a month. It wasn't worth it for me, so I stopped mine. So we're at the end of. What was that? Were you gonna say?
Country of origin and COO. Country of origin.
Country of origin. Okay. So, AI goes on to say analyze and plan marketing and then prepare for potential challenges. But I mean, that's something you should be doing all year long anyway, not just for Q4. Really, to me, it's don't run into inventory challenges. Understand that if you're sitting on stale stuff, there's a reason for it. There's a reason why your sales are slow when other people aren't slow. And I promise you, there's usually an answer for every slow sales problem. Now, you may not like the answer to that, but there's an answer to it. And if you're willing to accept the answer and take action, that will change, your slow sales. I promise you. But everyone out there has got a different situation and a different answer to that question. And that's the first thing is you got to look at yourself in the mirror and look at your processes, look at what you're doing as compared to everyone else, and try to figure out what that is. And some people just don't want to spend the time doing it. Dave says, fun fact, organic traffic, eBay 65.5 million, Walmart 69.7 million, Amazon 430 million. That's absolutely awesome. But some of us still need to sell on eBay, right? If I could get my items on Amazon in their current form, Amazon doesn't want Amazon liquidation. They frown upon that. So I'm staying away. Pico says, thanks, John and Scott, and all the chat. Have a good week and see you on Friday. Any closing thoughts, Beard, before we get out of here?
No, you're just as I think you summed it up pretty good. As in every other day, fourth quarter is no different. You're in control. The sooner you take responsibility for your ups and downs and decide that you can fix it, the faster you get about fixing it.
Yep, exactly. Well, guys, it's hard to believe we're at September 1st already. It just seems like yesterday we're, moving over to 2025. The older you get, the faster time flies. And before you know it, Q4 is going to be over with. And it's up to you to either make that a success or it's going to be a dud. And I really say refrain from blaming it on eBay. Yeah, they got their problems, but are your processes perfect? And are your items? None of us can say that our processes and our items are perfect. We're going to do the very best we can to make a bad platform work for us with the traffic that it has. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm going to continue down the course of making sales. And hopefully we can all help each other together as a community to just help each other grow. And look, there's not a whole lot as the number of sellers on the platform. It's like whoever watches, we have 125 people watching today, just a drop in the bucket. So I don't care if I help other potentially my competition improve their sales, but hopefully you guys have a great Q4. And these are all the things that we talked about today that you can do to get ready for it. So with that said, I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day. Have an excellent week, and we will talk to you here very soon. Take care, guys.
Within your control, hang with the pen, ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your style. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the